Inside Out, how y'all doing? Inside Out, how are y'all doing? There we go, there we go. I love it, I love it. I'm so pumped and excited to be here with y'all tonight. And if we haven't had the chance to meet, like Matt said, my name is Tyler Ziemann. I have the incredible opportunity of getting to be the transit director here at North Point, which is our middle school environment, which means that I get paid to hang out with middle schoolers. And you're probably thinking, this guy's crazy, and you're absolutely correct. Like, I hang out with middle schoolers on a weekly basis, and I absolutely love it. It's a ton of fun. I think they're the greatest bunch of students. Get to hang out in the garage with them every Sunday. It's so much fun. And so I feel like in light of that, I feel like I got to give them some love and shout out tonight. And that is, if you know a middle schooler, if you have a sibling that's a middle schooler, or you know of a middle schooler, just know that they're looking up to y'all, that even though y'all are only a couple years younger, they love getting to hang out with y'all as high schoolers. So thank you for giving them people to look up to. And I know they might smell, like I know they may like be really strange, and the things on Instagram they post don't make sense, like the rate, date, hate, like all those things, like they don't make sense, but they mean good. And so if you know one, you know, like give them a high five, help them across the street, I don't know, do their math homework. But just know, and I'm thankful that y'all give them someone to look up to. But for real, I love getting to hang out with y'all as well here at Inside Out, getting to come and hang out with the high schoolers, because I always feel like I walk away learning something new. Like whether it's like a new dance move that I see y'all doing, I think their dance moves, like it's like this and like, I don't really know, but y'all like, do all these dance moves, and the specific thing too is like y'all say things like these words. I'm like, I gotta use those words. Like y'all say all these things. I'm like, is that English? And so like I'll actually get on the Google and go on Urban Dictionary, right? And I'll be like, what does that mean? And then I'll learn it, and then I'll go home and with my wife, Jason, I'll say it, and she's like, who the heck are you, Tyler? I'm like, all the cool kids are saying it, so like I think I should as well. Like I kid you not, like this past summer, I was hanging out with some students, and they're like, Tyler, stop boosting. I'm like, what? Like booster seats? No, like, no, Tyler, stop boosting. I'm like, yeah. So I like get on Urban Dictionary again. I'm like, what does boosting mean? I'm like, okay. Yeah, bro, stop boosting, home dog. Come on, spill the tea. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Like what's going on? And so like I learned all these like new terms to use, and like once again, like I don't know what half of them mean, but I feel like I get a little bit cooler every time. But I love getting to be here, and since it's been a while since I've been up here at Inside Out, I love to kind of reintroduce myself, give y'all a little insight into the life of TZ. So the first thing you got to know about me is that I went to the Vista Ridge High School right there. Go Rangers, red, black, and silver till I die. Like, I love going there. My man, Principal Johnson, PJ, you know, like one of these, like right there. I absolutely loved getting to go there. It's like almost kind of like the best 4 years of my life. So I loved getting to go to Vista, guns up, whatever the school song is nowadays. But I love getting to go there. And the second thing you got to know about me is I'm lucky enough to call this girl right here my wife, JC, right there. She's right there. What's up, girl? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's her. She's amazing. She is way out of my league, like for sure. But you know how the saying goes, shoot or shoot, and your boy swished it. And so like shout out to my haters who said I'd never make it because I've arrived. You know what I'm saying? So I've peaked. Thank you. But yes, I'm lucky enough to call her my wife. She is amazing. We've been married a little over a year and a half, and it's been great. It's been fantastic. She's actually one of our junior girl small group leaders here at Inside Out, right there. And we actually started dating back our sophomore year of high school. So where are all our sophomores at? Raise your hands. Y'all better be cheering, because y'all's future spouse could be in the room right now. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Keep your options open. No pressure. And everyone said, ew. Y'all keep that open mind, but I love getting to be married today. She's my best friend, and it's a lot of fun. And the last thing you got to know about us particularly is that we have a son. His name is Ryder. He is adorable right here. He is the best dog ever. He's 4 years old. He's thriving. He's doing things dogs do. He can sit, shake, lay down, pee on trees. Like, he is phenomenal. He's actually in the back of the room right there. Gotcha. Awkward. Jordan won't let me bring him. He might poop on the floor. But anyway, so this is Ryder. We love our little family. It's a lot of fun. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. But like I said, I'm so glad to be here with y'all tonight, especially as we're not only kicking off, but we're wrapping up this one-part series that we're doing called Together. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be talking about this idea of together and what it means and why we should care and how it applies to our lives and kind of how it can make an impact in our lives. And so I think a great place to start to kind of center us all in the same page is by looking at a definition. And then I lost my physical personal dictionary, so I looked online and I found this dictionary definition right here. When it comes to together, it says together is with or in proximity, big word, sorry, not that smart, proximity to another person or people. So within proximity to another person or people. So this is the definition we're going to be working with tonight and talking about, so keep this in mind as we move forward. And as I thought about this idea of together in my life, I began to brainstorm different examples of what this looks like and kind of what it means to me. And I started to get all these examples. And the first one that always pops into my head is these guys right here, little Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. Any fans? All right, you and me, Steve, baby. We'll talk after right there. But I love Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. They're some bad dudes. They would run the streets, and I always look up to them because their camaraderie and how they did their lives, just doing turtle things and whatnot. And so I loved getting to watch the shows, having all the toys. And ultimately, every year at Halloween, I would want to be a Ninja Turtle for Halloween. And my mom would be hey, Tyler, don't you want to be something different? I'd be sorry, it's woman, I'm a ninja. And I'd kick him like that right there. And she's bro, you need to freaking chill. I'm no, Mom, you need to chill. I'm going to get this bread. And I'm going to get this candy, you know what I'm saying? And as you can tell, I wasn't the greatest kid, but I was a Ninja Turtle, so I didn't really care. I did my own thing doing turtle things. So I thought about Ninja Turtles. And then on top of that, when it comes to together, I began to think of kind of the songbirds of our generation. Shout out East High Wildcats right here. Come on. Yeah. Woo. Y'all know it. Songbirds. If you don't know this, I'm sorry. Together. All right, we'll finish that later. Sorry, we'll finish that later. But I think of, the East High Wildcats and how amazing they were in being together. And it kind of set me up to fail for high school, because you see it, you're this is what high school's gonna be like. And you get to high school, you're bro, what? I don't think I could just stand up in class and bust out into little musical. I don't think I'd probably get sent to Leo or something strange like that. But I thought about them, and I think of Troy Bolton. If you're a guy, you wanted to be Troy Bolton. If you're a girl, you wanted to marry Troy Bolton. It was amazing. Get you a man who can do all both. He can shoot, he can sing, he can dance. And then the last movie you can see, he can golf too. So he is just the cream of the crop. And so I think of that when it comes to together as well. And finally, a little bit more personal example for me. When I think of together and being with people, I think of this picture right here. This was taken from boot camp 2018 this past summer, which is what we do in the summer with our middle school and high school. And it's our summer camp that we do in the summer, and it's a ton of fun. I always like looking at this picture because it reminds me of what being together really looks like. It reminds me of what we can do when we're together. So I love looking at this picture, and I love looking forward to next summer as well. And so that's me. That's what I think about when it comes to together, and I'm sure y'all have some examples as well. So I actually want you to turn to your neighbor, turn to the people around you, and talk about what you like to do together. What are some of the things you do together in your life? All right, let's bring it back in. Bring it back in. Bring it back in. Bring it back in. There we go. All right. Let's hear a couple of the examples that y'all talked about. Over here, what's one of the examples y'all talked about? Right here. Eating food. All right. I respect that. All right, someone over here. What's something y'all talked about? Right here. Spill the tea. Urban Dictionary, please. So we like to spill the tea right here. Smash Bros. on the GameCube or what? One more example. One more, right in there back. What? Sharing homework. You mean collaborating on homework. Working together, say, hey, I got this. What'd you get? And collaborating. Oh, I'm watching you. But yes, so as y'all can see, we have so many different examples of what it looks like on our life. I'm sure we can go on and on listing different examples of what it looks like, the things we do together. But there are actually two things that we all actually share in common in the room right now. And the first one is that you're in high school. You're either a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or you're a high school leader, right? So we're all in this phase of life together. And the second one is that you're here at Inside Out, that you're here in this room, which means naturally by definition that we are together, that we're within proximity to another person or people. And what that means in turn is that we have a choice, that we can either pursue this idea of together, that we can come over here and live together and live in community, or we can come over here and do the opposite, that we can isolate ourselves, that we can distance ourselves, that we can kind of like go alone off and kind of do our own thing. And so we have this choice, right? And I know in high school this can be difficult because you're surrounded with so many people, so many different groups, so many things and activities and pressures and influences that it can be hard to kind of find your people, to find your group. And I get that because I'm not too far removed from high school. So I know there's that tension. But like I said, we all have a choice. There's a choice that we all have to make. And like I said, we can either choose to live together or opposite. And what I wish I would have known when I was in y'all's shoes back in high school, when it comes to this idea of together, and when it comes to how we live our lives, is you can't live life alone. You can't live life alone. We weren't designed to live life alone. There's things we can't do by ourselves, and we can't do life alone. And maybe you've thought about this before, but maybe you haven't, but this is true for every single one of us in the room. And so in light of that, I want to break this down with the rest of our time. And I think a good place to start is by asking this question to ourselves, this honest question. And I need y'all to answer it honestly to yourselves. But the question is, where in your life is together not a thing? Where do you feel like you've distanced yourselves? Where do you feel like you're isolated? Where do you feel like there's some tension? Where do you feel like together is not a thing in your life, wherever that is? And I think a good follow-up question is, okay, in light of that area of your life, how would you rather spend your time, right? Because Jackson 2 weeks ago said our time in high school is limited, right? So how would you rather spend the time that you have in your current contact with the current people in your life? Because like I said, we all have a choice, and your time is limited. So how would you rather spend your time? And maybe for you, the area you thought about, maybe for you, it's with your friend group. And maybe you've had this solid friend group, most of your life, and things are growing great, but then something comes up. And things start to change. Friends start to move around, and your friend group kind of breaks up before you know it, right? And you don't really know what caused it, and there's this tension. You don't know what to do. So maybe it's in the context of a friend group. Or maybe for you, it's in the context of your family. With your parents, with your siblings, you feel like at home you're always butting heads, you're always arguing, trying to get your way, and you just feel like home isn't a safe place. You don't want to be there, and so you feel this with your family. Or maybe for you, it's with a sports team or an extracurricular team or dance or band or whatever it is for you. Maybe you feel like, things didn't go your way. The season didn't end how you wanted to. The performance didn't go how you wanted to, so people start to argue. They start to go back and forth. They're pointing fingers and saying, hey, that's your fault, and there's division in the team, and things aren't going your way, and before you know it, there's no chemistry on the team. Or maybe for you right here, it's in a dating relationship. Maybe for you, you have your significant other, but you just feel like you're always butting heads. You're arguing, you're fighting, you're not honoring one another, and you feel stuck. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's causing it, and you feel like you're in this hole and you're isolating yourself with it. Or maybe, if we're getting real, and in our current context, maybe for you, it's with your Inside Out small group. Maybe you've had a couple great years and things were going good, but now all of a sudden, things aren't like they used to be. Things have changed. There's this awkward tension. You're like, I don't really know what this is all about. And you begin to feel that. You begin to feel that tension. And I know it's not fun, and you don't know how to fix it, and you feel like you're stuck. And so these are the different examples. Maybe you would add to this list. Maybe you would take some off. But think about what it is for you, because I know what it is for me, what it was for me when I was in high school, was my friend group. Now, I had an amazing friend group growing up from second grade all the way to senior year. We were best friends. We did everything together. We went on vacation together. We hung out. We played sports. We did everything together, and it was great. But in our senior year, something came up. Something so small came up, and our whole friend group kind of disappeared. We all went our separate ways, just like that. And I don't know really what caused it. It was something so small, and it blew up in our faces, and we kind of went our separate ways. Like, we finished out our senior year. We went off and graduated, went to all these different schools. And honestly, it sucked. Like, I still regret that to this day, because there's nothing that I can do about it now. And over the past couple years, we've tried to kind of rekindle our relationships and hang out and talk, but it's just weird. I kid you not, just yesterday, we were at a wedding together for one of our best friends that was getting married. And this is the first time we'd all been together in almost 5 years. And man, it was weird. Like we were standing around kind of making small talk. You know how you do at weddings? I'm like, dude, how's your dog? He's like, I don't have a dog. I'm like, fair, I have one. But like, it's just like awkward stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was cool to get to see them, but it really wasn't like it used to be. It was weird. We kept talking about, hey, remember how fun it was? Remember how good it was? Remember those memories that we made? Yeah, that was good, but now it's just gone. Now it's not there. The 10 years was gone in an instant. It just wasn't right, and I regret that to this day because there's really nothing I can do looking back. And so the reason I share that story with y'all is I don't want y'all making the same mistakes that I did. I don't want y'all having the same regrets that I have now. I don't want you to have to say, man, when you're in my stage, to say, man, I wish I would have done that differently. Man, I wish I would have fought for that relationship. Man, I wish I wouldn't have let something so small get in the way of a relationship or a group. Because there's nothing that you can do in the future, but there's something you can do right now to fight for those relationships, to preserve those groups, to fight for those teams and those areas in your life. And I want to discover together how we can do that and why it's important to do that starting today. And so to do that, I want to take a look at some words that a famous early church leader talked about. And this early church leader, his name was Paul. And we've talked about Paul before, but he was an incredible leader. He ran into a lot of people, a lot of groups of people, so he really knew what this idea of together was about. And he ran into his fair share of good and bad with his experiences. And on top of that, what Paul knew to be true was it was how Jesus lived out this idea of together. Now, Jesus pleased with us to do the same, to pursue that community and those relationships. So I want to take a look at what Paul has to say about this idea of together. And so Paul starts off in his letter to the Colossians, which is in the second half of the Bible. Paul says, bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you have a grievance, or in today's context, beef, if anyone has beef against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. So he's saying if there's something amongst yourself, he's saying, hey, we can do what Jesus had already done. We can forgive, but he doesn't stop there. Paul goes on and finishes. He gives us our answer. He says that over all these virtues, of all these different things, put on love. He gives us the answer to this idea of together. He says it's through love. And he finishes, he says, love which binds them all together in perfect unity. Perfect unity meaning together. It bonds us together when we love each other. And if Paul were in the room with us today, what he would say, he'd say, guys, we gotta get this right. Guys, we gotta do better at this because Paul knew there is way too much power and potential when we live together. There's so many things that we can do when we're together, when we live in community with the people around us, and he doesn't want us to miss out on that. And Paul would say, yeah, maybe it might be difficult, maybe it's hard or awkward, maybe you just need to have a conversation with that person or those people. Maybe instead of believing the worst, you go directly to them and believe the best and say, hey man, this is what I'm experiencing on the other side of you, but I care enough about you, I care enough about our relationship to fight for it, because I don't want something small to blow up and ruin what we have. And yeah, it's gonna be hard, but I think 10 out of 10 times it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth fighting for those relationships now in your current context. And Paul says we're able to do this because of the example that we have of how Jesus forgives us, forgives those around us, and loves us. And so we have the example of how we can do this. And now Paul would say you can't take this too far. Paul's not talking about if someone's actually hurt you physically, emotionally, or maybe put your life in danger. He's not talking about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But what Paul is talking about is the stuff that we so often experience in high school, right? All the junk, the drama, the rumors, the lies that we experience almost on a daily basis, right? Paul's talking about those little things that blow up into big things and ruin great relationships. And if Paul were in 2018, he would use the word that I looked up earlier on Urban Dictionary. He'd say, guys, stop being so petty, right? Am I using that right? Right, all right, fair. So you would say, stop being so petty. Stop letting these little things blow up into bigger things, ruining great relationships. Paul says it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And guys, just imagine if we got this right. Imagine if we really gave this a try. And we decided to live together, to love one another, to fight for one another right now, starting today. I think we'd be surprised what we could do, not only here at Inside Out, but in our schools, on our teams, with our families. I think the possibilities are endless. And I don't think this is something that you're gonna regret. Like, I don't think 10 years from now, you'll be like, man, like, I wish I wasn't so nice to that person. Man, I wish I wouldn't have included them in our friend group. Like, you're not gonna regret that, but what you will regret is the opposite, of driving someone out, of being toxic or nasty towards someone, of driving someone out from a friend group just because. And those are things you're gonna regret, and that's the regrets that I have today. So imagine if we got this right. And Paul would say there's a whole nother level of relational satisfaction that we can experience when we really pursue this idea and love one another and live together. And so I want to revisit that question. In light of all that, I want to revisit that question we looked at earlier. And that is, where in your life is together not a thing? Where in your life do you feel like you're doing the opposite? Where you're trying to separate yourself, where you're trying to isolate yourself? And I think a good follow-up question for that is, in light of that, okay, who is your person or persons or group or team do you feel like you have to have a conversation with? That you need to kind of put your pride aside maybe and just say, hey man, I care about us. I care about our friend group. So I'm going to have this hard conversation with you because I know in the long run down the road, we're going to benefit from it. So identify your person. Think about who that is for you. And this is what Paul wants from us. This is the example he's trying to set for us, because ultimately what Paul knows to be true is our bottom line today right here, is that together we are better. Together we can do more. Together we can accomplish more than we could ever imagine. Together we can do things we couldn't do on our own because we surround ourselves with people. So together we are better. So that's our bottom line today. But before we get out of here, I want to just give us some practical ways that we can kind of visualize this, how we can get some handles on this idea of togetherness and what this looks like. Because like I said, there's some things that we just can't do on our own, that we can only do when we're together. So the first example that I'm going to do is going to involve this couch, and I'm going to need some volunteers. I need 2 girls and 2 guy volunteers. Don't be shy. Right there. I'm going to call on people. Farber, come on, get up here. Right there. All right, we got him. Y'all come on up. Give him a round of applause. Come on, Farbs. All right. Don't sit on the couch. That's my couch. Oh, Farbs jumped up here. It's all right, Jackson. Take your time. Ooh, hops. All right, so we're going to figure out, Farber, what's your name? Brandon. We got Brandon. We got Jackson. Devin. Celeste. All right, so what y'all are going to do is we're going to work together, all right? So I'm going to sit on this couch. I'm going to get comfy. What we're going to do is we're going to get individually. And Devin, I need you to try to lift this couch by yourself with me on it, like all the way up in the air. Come on. Use your legs. Don't make me feel self-conscious. Up. Oh, good try. Celeste, you think you can do it? Come on, Celeste. Use your legs. All right. No bread acquired. Farber? Whoa, okay, chill. All right, Jackson, last try. Okay, bro, chill. All right, yeah, I'm good. All right, so obviously they aren't able to do this alone, but I think as a team of 4, I think if y'all all get on a corner, and lift from the corner, use your legs to work together, I think, well, let me count to 3. I gotta get ready. All right, who thinks they can do it? All right, they're not that confident in you. All right, ready? 1, wait, how about let's switch y'all 2. For no particular reason. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, okay, down boy, all right. Oh, okay, down gentle, watch your fingers. There we go. Let's give them a big round of applause. Boom. All right, so I know that was kind of a sillier example, but the reason I do that is to highlight the fact that there's things in life that you just can't do by yourself. There's couches that you just can't move by yourself in life, that you need people around you to do. So remember this visual of the couch as we kind of go through these more tangible examples right here. And so I know for me and maybe a lot of us, when it comes to together in our lives and the things we need people for, I think of sports right here. Y'all know what movie this is? Good. There is hope. So I think of sports and the sports teams that you're on, and I think about how you couldn't play sports by yourself, right? Like imagine playing the University of Alabama in football, like 1 versus 11. Like you'd probably either break 5 ribs or die. Like it's not gonna end well for you. And so imagine that, but the opposite, when you work together as a team. I'm not talking about, wins or loss. I'm talking about when you have a chemistry with your team or whatever team that is extracurricular. I think that's when amazing things can happen when you're fighting for each other and fighting for the same goal. I think that's when something special can happen. So I think of sports or band or dance or whatever thing that you're involved in. I think of that. And then secondly, I think of our friends, right? Another great show right there. So I think of the friend groups that we have, the people that are around you in your current context. I think how amazing it is to have people for us and the things that you can do together. Something like the couch example that you just can't do on your own, you can do when you have people around you. And it's so great to have those. And so cherish the time you have with them. Fight for those relationships like we talked about, because you're going to regret it if you push those people away. And the next example, when it comes to this, what I think about is what we kicked off last month, and that is what we're calling For Austin. We said we're doing this big movement that we want to be for people and for our city like never before and love in incredible ways. And just imagine trying to do that by yourself. Like maybe you could do it for a little bit. Maybe you could do that, but I bet you'd get tired, you'd get bored. But when we do it together, when we do it together with the people in this room, I think that's when something special can happen. I'm excited to see how y'all lead as we move into our future home and we love Austin in ways it's never seen before. So I think of that example. And then finally, in our current context, like we mentioned earlier, I think of our small groups. And I didn't have a picture, so the turtles are back up, you know what I'm saying? And so I think of our small groups, your inside out small groups that you have, right? And how lucky you are to have people that you can rely on, that you can do life with, that you have amazing small group leaders that you can rely on, that are here for you, and how unique of a possibility that is. And so to know that and to cherish those times, to know how special it is, because those are going to be the people. The people in this room are going to be there for you long after high school's over. When you're in college and that breakup happens or you fail your 7th chemistry test, like they're going to be the ones that are there for you. So take advantage of your small group and your small group leaders. Have fun with them. Do life with them. Live together in community with them because it's so special. And in light of small groups, the final example that I have is what Keeney mentioned earlier, and that is my life. And the second ever My Life is happening this year. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. It's going to be an amazing time, and you're not going to want to miss it. But you're specifically not going to miss it because it's all centered around small groups. The groups in this room, the whole weekend filled with fun sessions and music and games and food and stuff like that is all with your small group. And one change this year from last year is that y'all are going to get a chance as a small group to lead and serve together because every single group is going to get to go out into the greater Austin area and serve with an organization. Various organizations that we're partnering with to be for Austin, you're going to get the chance to serve together. And I think that's when you're going to be able to see what we can really do together. When we have, 200, 300 people fighting for the same cause, I think that's when something special can happen. So I'm so excited for My Life 2019. You're not going to want to miss it. So those are my examples. But as we wrap up, I just want to leave y'all with 3 things that I want us to remember going forward that we can start today. And the first one's what I just mentioned, to register for My Life. If you've been to My Life last year, should other people sign up? Should you sign up for My Life? Right, you're not going to miss it. Registration opens next week, and so you're not going to want to miss My Life 2019. It's going to be a blast, so register. Let us know if you have questions. It's going to be a ton of fun. And the second one right here is I want you to identify your person or persons, the group in your life where you feel like you have to have a conversation with, wherever that may be, to have that conversation. And it might take some time. It may not be easy, but it's going to be worth it 10 out of 10 times. So identify those people in your life. And finally, what I want us to remember is our bottom line that we mentioned earlier, that together we are better. Together we can do more. Together we can accomplish things we otherwise couldn't. Together we can change our city. Together we can change our schools. Together we can redirect the future of our city and what we're doing here. So together we are better. I'd love to pray for us, and then we'll get into small groups. Dear Father God, I'm just so thankful, God, for these students. God, I'm thankful for Inside Out, and God, and giving them a place where they can belong regardless of their background, regardless of what they've been through. God, they can belong and have a small group, God, to be with. God, to come and know that they're loved by a God who is for them. God, I'm so thankful for the reminder, God, that we are better together. God, that we can do more than we can ever imagine we do it together, God. I'm just so thankful for the possibility and the opportunity to talk about this. God, I just pray that moving forward, God, that we continue to fight for relationships, that we can fight for those around us, to fight for our friend groups, our teams, our families, our classmates, God, because ultimately we know it's worth it to live in community, God, just as you've designed us to do, God. We love you so much. We need you. In your name we pray. Amen.